Hello, besties! Welcome to Martinis with Eddie, your ultimate destination for everything Bravo. Join me as we spill the tea, dissect the drama, and uncork the juiciest gossip from your favorite reality TV shows. Okay, guys, first of all, I'm turning 40 tomorrow. And many people say like, why you keep announcing your age? Like people are gonna say that you're old or too old to be talking about Bravo. Which by the way, it did happen on Twitter. I posted something over the weekend that I was going out with my friends to have a brunch or whatever, celebrating my, the beginning of my birthday week or whatever. And somebody was like, "Aren't you like 40? Why don't you just go outside?" I'm like, fuck, bitch. I can say whatever the fuck I want. I can post whatever I want, whenever I want. And then somebody retweet this person saying, like, oh, he is really 40? He's too old to be talking about Housewives. Such a loser. And I'm like, we are watching a show about women older than I am, and we are talking about the life that they live. Um, Also, I can say that I started watching Bravo 20 years ago. Not that many people who watch Bravo in the younger generation can say that. So for people to think that I'm too old to be talking about Bravo or tweeting about Housewife, mind your own damn business. Like for real. Um, I'm excited because my birthday uh, falls in a really awesome change in my life. I'm starting a new job that been eyeing for a very long time. We are moving back to Jersey from upstate New York. We are selling our property for twice as much as we paid 2 years ago, which, in the words of Terry Dubrow, that is not just fuck you money, that is fuck everybody else's money. So yes, I'm very excited for my birthday. I know that many people tends to feel afraid or scared that as you get older, you need to stop doing what you love to do. Yeah, I don't have the same energy of like going out every weekend, and have to a club and whatever. But I am going to go to a club when I go to Vegas. I am going to go for dinners, and I still go to brunch and drink and have fun. Just because you're getting older doesn't mean that you have to act old. You know, um, the best part of getting older is that you're wiser and you are financially stable. I'm a house owner. I'm a home owner. I'm married. I have a beautiful family. So I can complain. I feel really blessed. So bring the 40s. Bring the 40s. I always say the 40s are the new 20s. You know? But let's stop talking about my birthday and let's talk about another big event this week, which was the end of the reunion of Housewife of Atlanta. I'm actually happy that they decided to do only a two-part reunion because sometimes when we get like 3 parts, 4 parts for Beverly Hill ones, I feel like sometimes we get like 2 episodes of just fillers. With this two-part reunion, we went straight into the drama, straight into the arguments, straight into the point, and stuff that we needed to talk about. You know, last night episode started with Courtney versus Drew. I'm disgusted by Courtney. I honestly do not understand uh, what intention she had about talking and being so dismissive of her comment about Drew's son. I There is a point where you have to know that even though you are on a reality TV show and you want to put on a show to be able to stay on the show and maybe become a full-time housewife, you still have to know some boundaries. You have to know some limits. And I feel like Courtney crossed every single line last night, especially when she said that Drew single-handedly destroyed her own kids' lives. I was shocked because I mean, yes, a lot of people had said way worse about Housewives, and especially during the reunions. They wanna bring the drama, but there are some topics that are kind of sacred, and people don't go there. Like, for example, kids. And the moment that Courtney brought uh, Drew's son into the mix, I knew that she lost completely any valid point. Even if she was trying to make a point, which she was trying and failed miserably every single time because her point was fed by Ralph. Um, that comment about Drew forcing Ralph to adopt her son so she can go have like a gay lover, and then saying that she destroyed her kid's life. I mean, those comments were disgusting, and I'm happy that some of the housewives jumped in and like made her, realize that she was saying too much. Like Kenya was like, kids are off limits. Even Sonia seemed very uncomfortable sitting next to her as she's talking, and even Courtney was trying to make like a little like conversation with Sonia, and Sonia was completely disengaging because she didn't want to be involved in such a like low blow. To be honest, when it came down to the Drew versus Courtney, Drew came on top because she was very clear with her points. She was very understanding of the fact that Courtney was doing too much, and she allowed her to, to say whatever she wanted to say, and then she answered by saying, "Keep my son out of your mouth." You know, Kenya was not having it either. Kenya was not having Courtney last night. I actually even posted a tweet about Courtney saying that I posted, "This was gross and evil. Get her off my TV." That was when she was talking about Drew's son and saying that Drew destroyed his life. Kenya retweeted that. And during the reunion, you can tell that her body language is like upset, because one thing that we have seen from Kenya is like the moment that she became a mother, she changed a lot for the better, right? Uh, she doesn't like to talk about the kids. She doesn't like to engage in that type of conversation, and she made sure to stop Courtney in her, put a break on it. Even Courtney was trying to say like who's talking to you or whatever, and she's like, "I don't care if you're not talking to me, but you need to stop talking about Drew's son." I think hands down Drew dragged Courtney with ease. I mean, it was really easy. I mean, honestly, it was very easy. One thing that I was shocked to see is the fact that somehow her text messages, Drew's text messages, were leaked to somebody. Shireb brought him to the reunion. And even Andy was saying, like, I feel bad for her because I will not want my personal messages to be, leaked. I still wonder who did that. I mean, my opinion is that Ralph is completely 100% involved in this. Even Courtney too. This whole thing, it's very strange. This whole alliance between Courtney and Ralph didn't read as cousins. To me, I don't know about you guys, but they were giving more like lovers vibe. When Courtney walked into Ralph dressing room, he was way too excited to see her. They were too cozy. Courtney was trashing Drew, and Ralph was acting as he was the victim. And we all know, we had seen this franchise for a very long time. And we had seen Ralph act like an ass towards Drew, and Drew always trying to make things work. Um, I'm just happy that Drew has a really good sister. I saw some comments online, you know, because I'm always reading, what it pops on my timeline. And some people were calling her drug addict. Some people were calling her crazy. And obviously are these like troll accounts. I mean, I don't know. I do not understand how a troll account works because you have to be very miserable to sit behind a faceless account and call somebody who struggled with anxiety, with depression, with a substance, and call them losers, call them like drug addicts, just because they are defending their sibling. Because to be honest, if I was walking in a place and I saw a very suspicious interaction between some bitch and some asshole that were maybe hurting my family or my sister or my cousin, I don't care. I would have stopped. I would have stopped and say something too. You know, um, I love that Allison got involved and the way that she literally told um, Courtney, "Oh, now you say bitch. Now you say bitch," because Courtney called her a bitch, right? Um, and I remember that during the season, allegedly Courtney never said the word bitch in her life. That I was like, please, that's such a clownery. That just being a clown, you know. But Allison handled the situation as she should. She defended Drew like the sister that she is. Maybe Kyle Richards should learn from that and defend Kim and Kathy like the sisters that they are. Um, the whole thing about Ralph being on the stage last night rubbed me the wrong way because Ralph went on this reunion with the mentality of gaslighting Drew to make her feel like she was the crazy person this whole entire time. His face, his the way that he spoke to Drew, and I'm happy that even though at one point he kind of got what he wanted, he made Drew feel so uncomfortable and so upset that she walked off the stage. But Kenya sat there and schooled Rolf. She dragged him, read him in a way that I was, full of joy because she didn't call him names. She didn't uh, like raised her voice. She calmly told him that he was a piece of shit because he was always allowing other people to drag Drew because he always was siding with the people that Drew was having issues with. He became friend with her enemy because quote unquote she is her cousin. You know, um, the fact that he was even reaching out to Marlo, to me that read like somebody who was trying to find ways to make himself look like the victim when we as viewers had watched this show many times, and it was so obvious that he felt miserably to change the image that he already has with the viewers. I wanna read some of the comments. This is from Erin. Hi Erin, thank you for being here tonight. Ralph went on the reunion to make himself look good, but he came out looking like a villain. 100% agree with you, Erin. Hi Mia Carla from New York. Ralph thinks the world is stupid, but a man who is a good husband never goes against her, and he has always tried to bring Drew down. 100% agree with this, and that's exactly what I noticed. He thought that acting like, oh, I'm gonna allow you to speak, but this, and you were, I love you. And then when he stood up and walked towards Drew at the end of the time that he was on the stage, to me that was so narcissistic because he didn't care for Drew. He was there siding with Courtney the whole entire time, and then he walked towards her to say, I love you. I hope you're okay. I hope you do the best. And I'm like, no, bitch. No, 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 no. Pack it up and go. We don't want to see you. We don't want you back. And I hope and pray to whatever is like up and above that Drew divorced this man because she deserves better. We might not like everything that Drew does. She might not be the best housewife that has come out of Atlanta. But as a woman, she deserves a man who's gonna stand by her when it's needed. And this was the opportunity. If he wanted to look good with the public, he should have been dragging Courtney for the way that she spoke to Drew and her son. I was like, I'm just happy that I'm not the one hosting these reunions because even though Andy sometimes is a little disappointing when it comes to like keeping people accountable, he was inserting himself in moments that was needed. Like he called out Courtney when she was trying to deny that she spoke about Drew's son on that confessional. He jumped in immediately and stopped her and said, like, you did. Like, please don't lie. I really wish that he will stop giving this man, this trash man, a platform to spew their lies. I know that we have to listen to their side of the story, but do we really want to, and do we really need it? Is the question that we need to ask ourselves. Because to be honest, I would have been okay with Ralph never being on that stage. The fact that he was invited to have a confessional after they, filed for divorce, trying to make himself look like it wasn't his fault, unnecessary. I think when it comes down to the Drew versus, Courtney and Ralph, she ended up being surprisingly good at handling the situation. Yes, she walked up the stage, and that is okay because it's good for anyone to know when to step away from a situation and gather yourself. Actually, we all should be able to know when we need to step back to put ourselves together and come back stronger, because that's many people's tactic, that is just tear you apart until you can even say anything coherent, until you just like saying whatever emotion you have in the moment without thinking what you're saying. So the fact that Drew stepped out of the stage, and she was crying and letting her emotions out, and we saw Sonia walking into her dressing room. Her team was there too. Moniera was there too, and then we have Kenny having her back on stage by talking to Ralph because he was a piece of shit, and she wanted to make sure that Ralph knew that what he was saying didn't align with what he was doing, right? And it's funny because Ralph tried to gaslight Kenya into making her feel like whatever she was saying was wrong, and she was like, no, 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 you're not gonna gaslight me. I'm not Drew. It doesn't work with me, right? Whew, that was intense. That was intense. Another intense fight that we had seen on this reunion is the Candy versus Sheree. I don't know why Sheree has such a heart for Candy, especially her businesses. Even Andy was congratulating Candy for the Tony nomination, for that is such an achievement. It's not an easy thing to do. And then we have Um, Shrek saying that she was invited back because the show was being lackluster without her being on the show. And I'm thinking, okay, what does Shrek bring to the show, business wise? So far, nothing, because Shiba Shire is lackluster. That is literally the definition of lackluster, right? So I don't understand. Like I still trying to get why she had such a like issue. It sounds to me like jealousy. To be honest, I will be jealous of Candy's success if what I came on Housewife for, I haven't achieved it, right? Because if we remember, Shrek came on Housewives saying that she was a fashion designer. If you Google her, her casting tape, all she talked about is how she wanted to be a designer, how she's involved in the fashion world and all this stuff. And last time I checked, I don't know what universe or what planet or that she's involved in the fashion world, because it's not in planet Earth. It's definitely not planet Earth. I had never heard, seen anything about Shirez's fashion design. And She by Shira doesn't count because those were knockoff from Shein and Amazon. That's not designing, that is just grabbing a hoodie and printing a logo. That's not a design. That's not a design. I mean, I don't wanna say that I dislike Shire, because Shire is an OG and she's still on the show for a reason. She brings something. I don't know what it is, but she brings something for Bravo to keep asking her back, right? But going after Candy's businesses to me is a reach, because one thing that Candy is a very successful businesswoman. I mean, if you ask me who's the most successful woman in Atlanta, is Candy, and then I will say Kenya, right? I know that Sonia is an Olympic gold medalist, and that is an amazing, amazing achievement. But as for what I consider, many, many, many businesses, like Candy is involved in the restaurant business. Candy is involved in the music business. Candy is involved in the fashion business. Candy has produced iconic songs, like like TLC. I mean, we go back decades, right? She is an icon. Same with Kenya. I mean, she's been involved in pageantry. She was Miss USA. She has her own hairline that is very successful commercially, and now she has her salon. So those are people who have succeeded over time and still succeeding while being on the show. But a lot of the other people who have been on the show, I don't even know what they're doing, right? Um, so yeah, Candy remains one of the most successful women in the Atlanta franchise, and even across franchises, right? If we put Candy and compare to many other housewives in different franchises, she's still one of the top most successful housewife in Bravo. So yeah, I mean that is not like fictional. That is not being a fan or anything. That is a fact, right? I um I do believe that I I mean I said this in my last podcast, and I'm not trying to repeat myself, but it happened again last night. As I'm watching the show, um, you know, Drew and Marlo went head to head again, and Marlo's way to go after Drew is by weaponizing her alleged, like for women. They were fighting, and Drew said something about Marlo. Marlo replied saying, "Take care of your marriage." And then, Drew replied saying like, "Well, maybe you should find somebody. You should get a husband." And then Marlo, with a very like smirk, like a very like kind of like trying to, you know, place shame on on Drew. She said, "Get why don't you just get yourself a wife?" And for that reason, I don't like Marlo. Like it's 2023 and she's weaponizing sexuality. That for those who don't understand, that is also part of being homophobic. Being homophobic is not just the people who burn the pride flag or the people who call, people's like really homophobic slurs to people or are voting against gay rights. People who weaponize sexuality, their intent in their mind is to make people feel like if you were attracted to somebody of the same sex, is to make you feel shame, is to make you feel like it's wrong, is to make you feel like people are gonna make fun of you because you are attracted to somebody of your same sexuality. And that's what Marlo did for the past two freaking episodes, and I'm upset that Andy didn't say anything because that was one of the things that I will do if I was a host. Like, I don't care. You can go head to head with whatever. That's part of the game. They're going to say whatever. But me as a gay man, I will not allow anyone in my presence to speak to somebody in that tone because it's putting my sexuality also as a joke. I mean, yes, Marlo said the F word slur, the homophobic slur on TV. Yeah, it was a while ago, and you will expect people to grow. But it seems that she hasn't. Because that was something that I just dislike. And I'm just happy that I didn't like Marlo even before this. But the more that she opened her mouth and went after Drew in this way, the more I was like, yeah, you're cementing my dislike for you. If it was up to me, I will not have Marlo back because if anything, since she joined the show as a full-time housewife, that's when the show started going into the toilet. Um, and also Drew's been bringing props this reunion. She brought a plum for Courtney, and she also brought a peach for Ralph. She handed the peach to Andy, and she's like, "Give it to Ralph. He probably wants it." And I mean, yeah, it sounds cheesy, it sounds corny, it sounds like done. But out of all the props that Drew has ever used, that was my favorite. Like that was good. Like last season's like bone was corny. The plum didn't land right, but the peach being handed to Rolf was so chef kiss that I hope one day Teresa Judice brings a dish full of meatballs and hand it to Anne and be like, "Hey, give it to my brother because he really wants to be center meatball." For those who don't get the joke, I always say that the icon for New Jersey should be a meatball because it's all Italian and all this stuff. So instead of being holding like an apple or an orange, they're holding like a handful of meatballs. So I hope one day Teresa brings some meatballs for Joe Gorga because he wants to be a housewife so badly that seeing Drew handing a peach to Rob was to me like the most like gratifying feeling. Like yes. One thing that was not that gratifying was that performance. I like the song, I guess. I like the song, maybe, but the performance, it was so corny. It was so cringy. Like, no disrespect to Drew, her voice was, good. The song is catchy. I mean, I listened to it on my iPhone this morning, like driving, and I like the song. But this whole interaction between her and Rolf as she's singing to him, and Andy is like joking about it with Kenya, and he's like, is she really singing to him? Like, what's happening here? Like, you can tell he was enjoying the mess so much. Andy is so messy. Like, I know that the sometimes we call out his attitude as a host, and how sometimes he acts like a fan, and I do believe that deep inside, um, Andy, even though he is the boss of all these ladies, deep inside he's also one of us. Deep inside he is a fan of these ladies. So when he see this type of mess, he was making these faces like, oh my god, this is so good. Like the type of face that we as fans make when we watch Housewife doing some messy shit. That's what he was doing. So I was living for that. I like the song. Yeah, I guess. The performance was unnecessary. Like if you ask me how I'd rate the performance, I would say like, remember when Kim Zolciak performed at the reunion, and she read said like, I like this. Yeah, I like the beat. You know, she was trying to not say anything bad about it. But yeah, I really wish, maybe Ralph wasn't there, or maybe she will focus on like maybe making eye contact with the camera, more like a performance to like the viewers kind of thing. Because I said I like the song. Erin just sent a message. Erin said, I love Drew's song. Drew was incredible. I really enjoyed it. Drew was so brave to sing that song to Ralph. Drew showed how strong she is, and she was showing Ralph she's going to be good without him. I agree, 100%. I do think that Drew is going to do better without him. I think she's gonna blossom as a housewife. I believe that Ralph is the reason why Drew hasn't blossomed properly as a housewife, even though she's been on the show for 3, 4 seasons. I'm trying to remember. But yeah, I do believe that if they get divorced and she comes back as a housewife without him, she's gonna be in a different place and position where she is going to be herself even more. So yes. Uh, let's see. Mia sent a message about the Andy comment that I made. He said, we have to remember that Andy got the idea for Bravo's Housewife from the late night soap opera Desperate Housewife and Sex in the City. So it comes from his fandom love for sure. It is true. I always feel like when Andy is around the ladies, Andy created a bond with these women. He is more than just their boss, right? Um, but he does act like a fan when he's around them, and it's funny and it's cute. As a fan, I appreciate that because um, it shows that even the boss is a fan. The problem with this comes at the reunions because as a fan, we have our favorites, right? We as viewers have our favorite housewives. I love Teresa Giudice. Some other people love Melissa Gorga. I love Jennifer Aiden. So other people love Margaret Joseph. And some people love Kyle Richards. And I love Sutton and Garcelle. So obviously, I'm going to side with those that I like more, right? And that's a problem that I've seen in many reunions is that you can tell who Andy likes at the reunions, like very easily to know, right? Whew. So yeah, that was Atlanta's reunion. I'm happy that it was 2 parts. I'm happy that hopefully they take their time to fix this franchise because we cannot move forward with the same cast. We cannot move forward with the same tone because as a season it was not good. I think the reunion was great. So what it saved the season for me was the reunion was perfect. It was not. They didn't, you know, dance around the bushes and added like questions that were stupid. Like they were straight into the drama, straight into the argument. The big topics were like the main. You know, they were driving the whole 2 episodes. So yes, I hope this is a kind of like a new way to make reunions more interesting. Like, yeah, we want to see more, but sometimes having 3, 4 episodes for a reunion doesn't make any sense. So yeah, that was great. One one franchise that is getting closer to the reunion taping is New York. People are questioning what they were going to be talking about, and I'm very excited for that reunion because as the episodes premiere, the more we get to know these ladies in a personal level, the more we see different sides of each and one of them. And last night was not any different. Like we had so many great stories from each and one of them just last night. For those who haven't watched New York, please go watch it. Don't miss out in one of the best cast ensemble that Bravo has put together. And people are complaining about the ratings, and I'm 100% sure that Bravo cannot be watching at live ratings as a reason to renew a franchise, because if that's the reason, Salt Lake City is going to the chopping block next time because the premiere from last week, even though it was an excellent episode, it was one of the best Salt Lake City episodes in a very long time. Very long time. Definitely one of my favorites. Barely made 400,000 views. Live views in the ratings, right? And I do believe the New York is gonna come back with the same cast. So get used to it. Watch it. Please watch it. Last night they were still in Anguilla, and they were having dinner. And Uva finally spoke her mind about the whole Bren comment. For those who don't know, Bren made a comment at Erin and Abe, Erin's husband, a comment to him saying that if he, divorce, she's like available kind of thing. But it was a joke. But it was a poor taste joke. I like Bren. Don't get me wrong. I like her, vibrant, happy personality. And even though she's very happy, person, we seen her talk about her upbringing and how hard it was for her, right? But that comment at the anniversary party, poor taste, wrong time. No, I don't like it because I wouldn't like somebody saying it to me at my anniversary about my husband, right? So Uba is the first one out of everybody to say, you know what, you guys are lying to yourself if you are supporting Bren, right? Because if they said that to like Sai's husband or or Jessel, even if it's a joke, they are going to be upset about it. I love that though. I love that Uva is able to come into the conversation and be like so clear-headed and not just take a side just because. And we saw that on her What Will Happen live appearance. She was quite unhinged. Like she was giving answers that I was like shocked that she said on TV. But I loved her for that reason, right? Um, yes, Mia Carla, she just said Uva's clothes, she dresses those girls out the door, and Uva is cousin with Chanel Ayan. Yes, she is. I think that's the best part. I love how uh, Bravo is kind of like making this little housewife universe where like now we started like New York and Uva is part of the cast, and she's related to Chanel Ayan, who's from Dubai, which will open the door for Chanel Ayan to make a guest appearance in future episodes. And I don't think on this season, but in the future season, we can see maybe Chanel Ayan just dropping by in New York City, or maybe the ladies travel to Dubai and Uva has like a dinner or something with Chanel, and they do have very similar personalities. Very outspoken, funny. They dress so well. So yeah, I can see how they are related. One person who was trying to get an apology to from Brent was Erin, and they kind of fixed it in the moment and they hug it out and whatever. But then they were fighting again, and then they were okay again, and then fighting again. I'm like, they have a relationship that maybe like a boyfriend, like that kind of type of relationship, like a lovers. Hey, I'm not saying that they're lovers. I'm saying like, do you guys remember? I don't know if you guys have gone through this, but like in my younger years, I had a relationship that I'd be mad at that person for like an hour, and then we will be like fine the next hour, and then we will be like fighting again, and then we'll be okay again, and then we will like break up, and then we'll get back together, like on and off all the time. So that's how I feel like Erin and Brent has like their friendship going on. And it's gonna give us so much like really like TV gold because they are both really funny, and it's gonna allow Bravo to like kind of like squeeze that friendship where like they're fighting one day and then they're okay the next day and they're fighting again. Erin even called Brent's apology like the dumbest apology ever. And it's such a typical thing in the housewife universe that like apologies don't feel like apologies. They feel like non-apologies. And that's how it felt last night because even though they were hugging it up, in the confessional they were like, yeah, okay, I mean, sure. Also, Brent said like Erin's anniversary party was so boring, and she kind of apologized about it, and then in the confessional she kind of like doubled down in I don't know. They are really funny, to be honest. um and like I was saying before, there were two moments during this dinner that I was very invested. One of them being Jenna's, um, opening up even more to the group. The ladies had gone really hard on her because she flew into Anguilla in first class 2 days before. And she has her genetic issue on her skin and all the stuff. And she wanted to feel pretty by, being there earlier. She just, so she could tan, right? And the ladies went so hard on her that she's been trying to explain that to them, and she was crying, and it make me feel like she understand like how people feel. She said something that resonated with me a lot because I always think that way too. She said like there's always something underneath. We are all just fucking broken. And it's true. It's true. And that's why when people comment on my stuff and they attack me personally, I try to like mute myself out of it because people don't know what people are going through. They don't know what I'm going through, and they probably think that it's a funny this or just like trying to be like shady or whatever. But you don't know what I'm going through, and your comment might hurt me. So instead of allowing that to happen, I just remove myself from the situation. Right? That's how I also assume that, like, even the happiest person out there might have something going on that they don't want to show it or they don't want to share with people because it's the way of being, protecting themselves. And that's what Jenna said. Like, she is guarded, and she takes time to open up. But when she opens up, she let people in. Then on the other side, we had Jessel, that she was trying to explain where she's from, and the story was very confusing. Uh, she said that she was from Africa, from Kenya, and then they moved to India, and then they moved to England, and then her brothers, her uncles, her uncles were like photographers, and everybody was like confused. I'm still confused. I'm trying to understand that. Even Sai said like, and in 1492, Christopher Columbus discovered America, and that's how Jessel's family got to like England or something. It was really funny. I was dying laughing, but not as funny as Uba trying to explain Erin what the WAP mean. What the WAP means, and I was dying because for those who don't know, WAP mean wet as pussy, like the Cardi B song, right? And Erin thought there was wet ass and pussy, and then Uber's like, no, it's wet as pussy. Like when I go through, she said, like when I go through TSA and they ask me what you have to declare, she said like this wet ass pussy, and it was the funniest interaction because then in the confessional, Sai said that Erin has no idea about pop culture, and then Jessel said, this was like to me one of the best lines of the night. She said, Erin listens to ABBA. She's not gonna know what the WAP is, and I was dying. That I'm telling you, Jessel is great housewife. She's a great housewife. She gives one of the best confessionals in this franchise. Like on every episode. Maybe it's just the way that her brain works, that it's just completely like I don't know. It's in a different speed. It's like disconnected with reality. It's something very special that makes her such a great housewife. Another story that was quite sad on this episode, and like I said before, this is great because we are getting to know these ladies even deeper as the time goes on, right? Sai shared that her mom was an alcoholic, that she had issues where she would spend all her money on alcohol and not food, and that she died from a heart attack that she experienced in a bench park by herself. And then she shared that she has her remainings, like her ashes, in a shopping bag in her closet. And they said like, yeah, that's that sounds like very, very Sai to have her mom's ashes in the closet. But then we have Jessel once again giving great confessional, even though it was, a very delicate topic. She made a joke that it was not tasteless. It was actually quite funny. She said like, I hope it's a Hermes bag or a Chanel bag. You wouldn't want that to be, Target or Walmart. And I'm saying that this is really funny just because that is something that I will say. Like, that's like the type of like commentary that I will give if I'm talking to my friends. Also, she was talking to her husband and she's like telling him how amazing the trip is, how she has like great Wi-Fi, how hot it is, great food, great location. And then uh the husband was like, I might fly in with the kids today. And she said like, no, 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 please don't fuck up with my peace. That is so freaking awesome, because you guys don't understand. If anyone says that, people will label her as like a really bad mom. But people need to understand that even moms need like a second. Moms need a vacation from their kids. Moms need a break from kids. Like, you guys don't understand. So I'm happy to see that Jester's like, yeah, I'm having a great time. You can keep the kids. Please don't come. Please do not. Don't fly. No, stay there. The girls were girling. They were having a great time at the beach. They were taking pictures. And once again, Erin and Bryn got into a fight. It's like a non-stop back and forth that I'm enjoying it, you guys. I'm enjoying this back and forth because it creates funny moments. It's giving this friendship like a long-lasting beef that I want to see how it plays out during the reunion. It also seems like Uba got closer to Bryn, and I read the Sai said during a event over the week that the reason why Bryn and Sai are not friends anymore, or like not in a good place, is because of Uba, and we are gonna see next weekend Uba fighting with Erin, which I didn't even see coming. I mean, we saw it on the trailer, obviously in the mid-season trailer, but now everything is falling into place, and I'm really excited because we haven't seen Uba react that way the whole entire time. And her reaction during the fight with Erin, where she removed Erin's sunglasses, and she said like, if you're gonna talk to me, you better not wear sunglasses, kind of thing. I'm very intrigued and really looking forward to it. You guys, as you guys can see, there was a lot of Bravo, you know, this this weekend. Also, talking about Bravo news, today, uh, it became official that Carl and Lindsay are not together anymore. The wedding was officially canceled, and one of the guests leaked the letter that Carl sent to the guests to let them know that the wedding is no longer happening. I read it, and oof. I am trying to keep my comments about it until I see the season, because he spoke for both of them. He said like, words cannot possibly express how difficult the last 2 weeks have been for Lindsay and I. We are so incredibly sorry to all of our guests for the confusion and lack of communication. We were left trying to figure it out how this all exactly happened before we could even have the opportunity to determine the path forward among ourselves. There have been a lot of false narrative and misunderstanding that have made this all the more painful, but sadly at the same time, we are not moving forward with the wedding. The fact of the matter is Lindsay is devastated and I'm crushed with how all this transpired. I graciously ask for some patience and grace to heal and recover while we navigate this extremely difficult time. Just to make sure, this is a letter that Carl sent the guest, and the guest leaked it to People's Magazine. So he's talking about, how he feels and how Lindsay feels, but it's bizarre to me to think about, because he shouldn't be talking about Lindsay if it's not like a joint statement. It seems more like he's the one who's sending it. So let me continue reading. He says, our commitment of money and time was already a lot. I don't take this lightly. We are super grateful for the love and support you have shown us, and will do what I can to help with any cost associated with changing plans. I'm sorry again, this has become such a mess. Thanks for your unconditional love and support during this tough time. We'll be in touch with further updates. With love, Carl. So, like I said before, was in fact Carl the one who sent the letter to the people, letting them know that the wedding destination, it was supposed to happen in Mexico, is no longer happening. But at the beginning of the letter, he seemed to be talking about him and Lindsay as if they both sent this as a joint statement, but it was not. I this is gonna be scandal point two when it all airs later this year, and I'm not ready for another scandal. I'm not. Please, please, please. I'm praying to the Bravo gods that this comes and goes, because scandal stayed for too long and there's still people out there talking about scandal like it's still happening. Please, please, these people call off the wedding. We will find out who cheated on who, or why they stopped loving each other, or who was being mean to who. I called this last season. And many people came after me saying that I was siding with Danielle for no reason because Carl and Lindsay knew each other for a very long time. And I said, I don't care how long they know each other. They knew each other as friends. They go to the Hamptons every summer. They didn't live under the same roof every single day. They rushed into getting engaged. They rushed into planning this wedding. And now the wedding is not happening. Because when you rush this type of shit, stuff don't last. And I'm still saying this. Danielle might have not been acting in some situations in her best. Like the engagement party, yes, she shouldn't be asking around who got invited first or why she wasn't invited before and all this stuff. That was a little tasteless. But her intention and her gut was right the whole entire time. And I've been Team Danielle all season last season, and people came for me for that reason. And I'm just saying, I told you so. With this statement that they released today to people, I'm like, I don't know. She if we're gonna be honest, I'm gonna be honest to you guys. I'm not gonna side with any of these people because this seems to be a very delicate topic. But I personally like Carl more than I like Lindsay. And I feel like a lot of this rushing into like meeting a timeline and rushing to marry, to me felt like it was Lindsay, because last time I checked, she was the one who had like a list of stuff that she wanted to do in her 30s. So she probably felt like she needed to marry before that like timeline like expire, you know. Yes, that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm going to say. Obviously, I'm gonna wait until the season starts and see how this plays out on TV, so I can like give you like a full opinion on it. But as now, I see this coming. I'm not surprised. I'm not shocked. People are acting like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so shocked. I love Carl and Lindsay together." I'm like, whatever. I did not like them together. I don't think they were a good couple. I felt like they were so overly, I don't know, like too much too soon, and that's never a good sign. Never. You always need space in a relationship. It doesn't matter how in love you are, but you need to have boundaries. You need to have your own life. You need to have your own space. You need to grow as individual too. And I felt, based on what I saw on the show, because let's make that clear too. Let's make that clear too. We are judging these people based on a half an hour, 45-minute episode that is filmed like for a whole week, like, and it's edited into like an episode, right? So we don't know these people that well. We just know what we see on TV. And based on what I see on TV, they were doing too much, too soon, and being overly stepping on each other's personal space. Like the fact that Lindsay didn't want to hang out with the girls, the fact that Carl needed to ask permission to do anything, kind of thing. The fact that if Carl didn't go to bed with Lindsay was this huge fight. Like, come on. Like that doesn't fly with me, and I never understood it. But we will have to see when Summer House come back to Bravo later this year. Okay, besties. We have a new show this week. We have the return of Southern Charm on Thursday. We have Salt Lake City tomorrow and Orange County on Wednesday. So obviously on Friday, I'm going to do a recap of all those shows, plus the week of news in the Bravo universe. I'm going to be having like a crazy couple of months moving forward because I have, like I mentioned before, we are moving to a new place, which is a temporary place because we want to buy a house without rushing, because we're selling our house, so we're not gonna like buy the first house that we see. We want to take our time, so we're gonna be renting an apartment. So I have to like pack. I've been packing my life for the past 3 or 4 weeks, and I'm exhausted. So if you see the podcast is coming out in different like days, I'm gonna try to obviously stick to my Monday and Friday release. Also remember that I'm starting a new job. That when you start a new job, you don't know how tired or busy you're going to be until you actually start your job. So please bear with me. I know you guys, you guys have been awesome with Martini with Eddie. This is growing, this is getting stronger, and trust me, I love Bravo enough to know that I need my time with you guys so I can bring you all the takes and hot takes and the news. So I'm not going anywhere. But if you see that the release of podcasts are a little all over the place for the next couple of weeks, you know that is because I'm gonna be trying to put my life together with this move, so I can bring you all the Bravo news. But don't forget to subscribe to my podcast because you know that I'm not going anywhere. And BravoCon is coming. BravoCon is coming in November 1st, so we are a month and a half away. I'll be flying to Vegas. I'm gonna bring you all the news, all the tea. So for that, I recommend you to subscribe to my podcast, to follow my Instagram, to follow my Twitter, because if you want like in the moment tweets or in the moment photos, those are the places you're gonna find it. Instagram and Twitter. Also, obviously, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm going to create a special videos with interviews and behind the scenes from BravoCon on my members only section of my YouTube channel, so you can join that too as well if you want to. But don't worry, because I'm gonna bring plenty video and plenty tea. There's gonna be for free on just YouTube and my podcast. Besties, also please don't forget to leave a rate on my podcast, whatever platform that you listen it to. Just, leave a 5-star, 4-star, and a little something saying, hey, Eddie just talks too much, or Eddie's opinions is funny, or Eddie is, a hater. I just want you to be honest, and that will help my podcast to be noticed by other people and be able to survive in this sea of content creators. Besties, I want to wish you all a great night. Don't forget that tomorrow, Tuesday, is Salt Lake City. Wednesday, it's Orange County, and Thursday is the premiere of season 9 of Southern Charm. Okay, besties, say it with me. You know that it's coming. Bye, besties.